This is a story about what happens when a person truly hits rock bottom and then decides to just disappear. Not to give up, no, but to rebuild an entire life from the ground up and to do it all in complete silence. Let's get into how he did it.
Just think about that for a second. This one line really sets the stage for an incredible transformation. It's a story that kicks off not with some big announcement, but with a quiet exit, leaving behind a world that had already decided he was a lost cause.
So, let's start at his lowest point. And I mean lowest. This is where he was completely alone, basically a ghost in his own life. A guy who had lost everything society tells us we need to have to be worth something. To really get how bad it was, let's just be clear, financially, he was totally broken. Bank account, empty. Socially, he was a nobody. His name carried zero weight. He walked into a room and nothing. And on top of that, he was completely powerless to change anything. His dreams, his plans, all of it had just collapsed. And here's the real gut punch, the isolation. The very same people who were supposed to be in his corner were the ones gossiping behind his back, absolutely convinced he was finished. Nobody was calling to check in. He was completely, utterly on his own. But in that silence, something shifted. And this wasn't some loud, dramatic breakdown you see in a movie. It was a quiet, internal click. A decision to stop blaming the world and to take absolute 100% ownership of his life. This is the moment right here. He didn't go looking for sympathy. He didn't post about how broken he was. He just looked himself in the eye and accepted full responsibility. That was the day the old version of him died, and nobody even noticed. He made a choice. A simple but incredibly hard choice that boiled down to these 4 commitments. He basically said, "This is my fault, this is my mess, and I am the only one who's going to clean it up." And that decision kicked off the next phase, the forging. See, while the world was busy moving on and laughing, he was in the shadows, rebuilding himself brick by painful brick. This was the work nobody saw, nobody heard, and nobody, and I mean nobody, applauded. Think about the trade-off he made. He made a conscious choice to take the hard road. He swapped all the noise, the chaos, and the cheap distractions of his old life for solitude, for silence, and for the brutal honesty that comes with progress through sacrifice. Now, this transformation wasn't built on just feeling motivated. Forget motivation. This was forged in pure, raw discipline. Every single day, he took these concrete steps. He was waking up early, not because of an alarm, but because he was on fire. Every rep in the gym was a response to an insult. Every book was a new weapon in his arsenal. And what's so powerful about this is how he reframed all that pain. He didn't try to just forget his past failures or the mockery. No way. He harnessed all that negative energy and used it as the literal fuel for his comeback. So after months of this silent, relentless work, the day finally came. He re-emerged. He didn't announce it. He didn't post about it. He just reappeared. And the world, it had no choice but to stop and stare. So what do you think happened? What was the reaction from the same people who had basically laughed him out of the room?
The change was that profound. I mean, people literally didn't recognize him. He looked different, sure. He carried himself differently. But it was more than that. His presence, his energy. It spoke for him before he even opened his mouth. He had become unshakable.
And that's the key. The respect he commanded wasn't something he asked for. It was just the unavoidable consequence of the man he had built himself into. The work had become so loud that it silenced all the critics. Okay, so the whole point of this story isn't just about one guy's epic comeback. It's about a fundamental principle of growth that really anyone can use. This is the core idea right here: silent growth. It's the philosophy that you don't need to announce your plans. You don't need to post about your grind. You just need to do the work, quietly and consistently, until your results are so undeniable, they do all the talking for you. And this right here, this is basically a permission slip for anyone listening. You don't owe the world constant updates. You don't need anyone else's validation for your journey. The only person you owe is yourself, to become the person you know you can be, especially when no one is watching. So I'm going to leave you with this question to really think about. If you were to disappear for a while, to shut out all the noise and just dedicate a season of your life to rebuilding yourself in silence, when you return, who are you going to be?